Well, I guess we'll have to order in.
Remember when TV universes didn't need multiverse charts to collide? In the 80s, characters just wandered into other shows like it was next door. Jessica Fletcher bailed Magnum out of a murder rap. Mickey Mouse popped into a Boston bar. And yes, Cobra Commander basically cameoed in Transformers. These weren't Easter eggs. They were network events designed to spike ratings, build loyalty, and make Thursday night feel like appointment television. Let's roll back the tape and count down a dozen crossovers that actually happened, even if your memory filed them under Did I Dream That? In this video, we're revealing 12 crossovers from the 1980s, what they were, why the networks did them, the behind-the-scenes logic, and why a few still feel surreal even now. Before we get to the list, we'd appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. 12. Perfect Strangers and Family Matters. Perfect Strangers didn't just gift us Balky's Dance of Joy, it quietly birthed another sitcom empire. Harriet Winslow appears first as the sardonic elevator operator at the Chicago Chronicle, a supporting role played with enough snap to make ABC take notice. From there, producers spin Harriet and her husband Carl into Family Matters, which starts grounded, working-class Chicago family, blue-collar dad, and then through a side-door neighbor named Steve Urkel, detonates into a phenomenon. What people forget is how interlaced these shows stayed. Carl and Harriet hop back onto Perfect Strangers for check-ins, while the newsroom DNA, big city chaos meets family warmth, bleeds into early Family Matters A-plots. This wasn't a clean break. It was a living Chicago TV-verse, where characters and tone flowed between shows. In today's language, it's a soft launch executed over multiple seasons, proof that the 80s did cinematic universe thinking long before anyone called it that. 11. The Golden Girls and Empty Nest. NBC's Miami block became a rotating door of neighbors. After a failed backdoor pilot embedded in The Golden Girls, Empty Nest re-emerged with a new cast and voice. But the girls kept dropping by. Blanche flirts, Sophia zings, Dorothy deadpans, then returns to the house for cheesecake, as if sliding from one set to the other took 5 minutes. These weren't stunt cameos. They were integration. Crossovers anchored sweeps weeks, and reinforced the idea that audiences weren't watching isolated sitcoms, they were visiting a neighborhood. The live next-door device let jokes echo across shows, and big events like storms or charity drives ripple through both series. It also made syndication packages feel like one long hang, which very intentionally kept you on the same channel. And yes, the later Hurricane Saturday multi-show event is technically 90s, but the muscles for that were built right here in the late 80s. A shared Miami where sarcasm, friendship, and guest stars flowed like iced tea on the lanai. 10. Diff'rent Strokes meets Knight Rider. If you grew up in the 80s, this crossover felt like a sugar rush. Kitty and Michael Knight roll into Diff'rent Strokes during a meta-Hollywood storyline, and suddenly Arnold Drummond is geeking out over a talking car in a different series studio backlot. It's short, it's cheeky, and it's the prototype for what networks loved. Collapsing distance between two fan bases. From a production angle, it's brilliant. Knight Rider gets daytime eyeballs and kid demo love. Diff'rent Strokes borrows primetime cool. The cameo also captures a uniquely 80s energy, the sense that television was one shared playground. The moment lands because they treat Kit as real. No wink-wink actor playing a role. For one scene, the universe rules bend, and the car you begged your parents to buy as a toy just exists on another show's turf. 9. The Cosby Show and a Different World. This is how you launch a spin-off without losing the heartbeat. Denise heads to Hillman College, carrying the Huxtable tone with her. Early crossovers keep viewers tethered. Cliff and Claire guesting to nudge Denise, Theo wandering through, even the occasional name drop that signals you're still in the same world. It served two strategic goals. First, it smoothed the handoff from America's one family show to a campus-set series with its own voice and ensemble. Second, it created continuity stakes. What happens at Hillman matters back on that Brooklyn brownstone. As the cast evolved and Denise phased out, the connective tissue didn't vanish. The spin-off had already earned its identity. The crossover period taught audiences to trust the world, not just the star. That's a lesson later sitcom universes think TGIF and beyond, replayed over and over. 8. The Jetsons Meet The Flintstones. The collision nobody asked for yet everyone watched. Stone Age meets Space Age, literally. Hanna-Barbera takes two fully formed universes with their own logic, dinosaur forklifts versus robot maids, and smashes them together with time travel hijinks. What makes it fascinating isn't just the novelty, it's how the movie preserves each show's comedic physics. Fred remains blustery and blue-collar. George stays anxious and gadget-addled. The jokes cross-pollinate. Bedrock's hand-cranked gag devices riff on Orbit City's labor-saving tech, and vice versa. Behind the scenes, this was IP synergy with training wheels. Prove you can blend brands, sell new lunchboxes, and test if nostalgia travels across generations. It did. The special reintroduced the Flintstones to kids who only knew the Jetsons, and it kept both shows alive in syndication cycles hungry for new old content. 7. The Incredible Hulk teams with Thor and Daredevil. Before shared universe ruled the box office, the Hulk quietly did it on TV. Two late 80s telefilms bring in Marvel heavy hitters. First Thor reimagined as a swaggering fish-out-of-water bruiser, and then Daredevil blind attorney by day, vigilante by night, locked in a moody, noirish courtroom story. These weren't throwaway guests. Thor becomes a character foil for Banner's control issues. Daredevil reframes the Hulk as a legal and moral dilemma, not just a monster problem. The tone shifts are deliberate. Returns plays like a brawny buddy movie. Trial leans into urban crime drama. And for fans, they were proof the comics world could translate to live action even with TV budgets. The crossovers also extended the series' lifespan after its weekly run, keeping the brand hot while Hollywood figured out how to do capes on the big screen. 6. Dallas and Knots Landing. The Ewings didn't only dominate Texas, they colonized a chunk of primetime. Knots Landing was born from Dallas, and the arteries remained open. Gary and Valene move between shows. JR's shadow looms over cul-de-sac politics, and plots echo across states. This is what long-form soap storytelling looks like, when the writer's room treats two series as one canvas. A custody battle in one zip code becomes dinner gossip in another. A scheme hatched at South Fork detonates careers by the Pacific. This sustained, multi-year weave did more than juice ratings. It taught audiences to expect continuity, to remember minor characters, to reward the patient viewer. In the streaming age, we talk expanded universes like it's new. Dallas and Knots were doing it with hairspray and rotary phones. 5. Magnum, PI meets Simon & Simon. CBS executed a crafty 1-2 punch. Start a mystery on a ratings powerhouse like Magnum PI, finish it on the scrappier Simon & Simon, and make viewers chase the conclusion across time slots. It's both plot and promotion. Tonally, it's fun to watch the show's flavors collide. Magnum's sun-bleached Hawaiian vibe meets the Simon's San Diego gumshoe banter. Higgins' propriety bounces off the brothers' laid-back charm. You get character chemistry you'd never see otherwise, and each show gets to flex its strengths in the same story. For Simon & Simon, it was a credibility boost. If Thomas Magnum is taking your case seriously, viewers should too. For CBS, it was proof a crossover can be a bridge, not a gimmick. 4. Alf meets Mr. Carlin. Alf, the cat-hungry wise guy from Melmac, walks into a therapist's office and surprise, it's Elliot Carlin sitting there, the hyper-neurotic patient from the Bob Newhart show. They never break the spell with a "hey, aren't you?" Instead, the scene plays deadpan. Carlin is just being Carlin, in another sitcom's world. This little crossover is TV comedy at its most mischievous. It rewards viewers who recognize the character without punishing those who didn't. It also shows how 80s sitcoms could bend reality for a joke while keeping character integrity. Alf's insecurity and neediness ring true. Carlin's self-absorption remains intact. It's as if the 70s wandered through the 80s, nodded and left, leaving a breadcrumb trail for TV trivia nerds and giving the episode a cult afterlife. 3. Saint Elsewhere and Cheers. A Boston hospital drama and a Boston bar sitcom share more than a city. They share a night. In a Saint Elsewhere episode literally titled Cheers, the doctors decamp to the bar, where Norm, Cliff, and Carla aren't guest stars, they're just there. The result is strangely grounding. Suddenly these shows feel less like TV constructs and more like neighboring addresses in the same town. The crossover does heavy thematic lifting. Saint Elsewhere's mortality and stress meet Cheers' nightly ritual of laughter as medicine. The bar becomes a pressure valve for the doctors and a mirror for viewers. Even heroes need a stool and a story. Network-wise, it stitches NBC's Thursday into a continuous experience. Watch one, keep watching the next, because this world continues down the hallway and around the corner. 2. Mickey's 60th birthday. For one night, brand walls fell. Mickey Mouse goes missing. Wanders through current NBC hits, Family Ties, Cheers, Hunter, LA Law, and interacts with stars as if animation and live action share a common physics. You get sitcom rhythm, action show swagger, and legal drama gravitas in a scavenger hunt for an icon. It's not subtle, it's synergy. But it's also a beautiful time capsule of broadcast power. A single network marshaling multiple formats to celebrate a character it didn't even own. The crossovers do triple duty: anniversary special, cross-promotion, and proof of concept that audiences will accept a cartoon in a real world if the story asks them to. The special taught executives that shared events can make a channel feel like a single brand, a lesson later networks would copy every sweep season. 1. Magnum, PI and Murder, She Wrote. The crown jewel. A hitman turns up dead, Magnum gets fingered, and somewhere in Cabot Cove a mystery writer hears the siren call of a locked room puzzle on Oahu. Part 1 plays like a Magnum case gone wrong. Higgins scowling, TC loyal, Rick suspicious of the suits. Part 2 flips tone. Murder, She Wrote's genteel logic engine boots up, and Jessica Fletcher coolly unthreads the knot. What makes it legendary is the friction action-first PI storytelling colliding with drawing room deduction. Magnum bristles at being a suspect in his own show. Jessica treats him like any other variable until the facts say otherwise. Their banter never breaks character logic. He's instinct and grit. She's pattern recognition with a smile. Behind the camera, this was a scheduling and audience experiment. Could CBS convince fans of 2 hits to share one narrative? The answer was a ratings-affirming yes, and the two-parter remains the 80s crossover most people remember once you jog their memory. There's the list, but we know we might have missed one of your favorites. So here are a few honorable mentions. Matlock and Jake and the Fat Man. A case structure that quietly tees up a new courtroom plus cop dynamic. You think you're watching a Matlock hour, by the third act, you've met the next show's DNA. Cobra Commander's Old Snake, in Transformers a trench-coated arms dealer with a very familiar Rabs, hints that cartoons shared more than toy aisles. No logo, all vibes. The Facts of Life meets Hello Larry, and Diff'rent Strokes ecosystem. NBC's teen sitcom web where guest drops kept the family feeling intact. The Jeffersons popping into the Fresh Prince pilot era? That's 1990, so it misses our decade, but it proves how these crossovers trained audiences to cheer when worlds collide. There you have it, 12 crossovers from the 80s that many people either never knew about or forgot. Which crossover shocked you the most, and which one did we miss? Because your VHS collection knows better than our memory. Drop your answer in the comments. If you love this kind of retro TV archaeology, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. We'll continue to look at the best, oddest, and weirdest moments from the 70s, 80s, and 90s television.